Margaret Qualley and Jack Antonoff. Margaret Qualley and Jack Antonoff seem to have one of Hollywood's most unusually romantic love stories. He said meeting her felt like something out of a movie. She publicly called him her person. Lana Del Rey even wrote a song inspired by their relationship. But now, less than 3 years after their celebrity-filled wedding, Margaret and Jack have separated. And while the internet is already trying to turn every deleted photo and awkward interview into evidence of some huge secret, the actual story appears to be more complicated and, honestly, much more human. People confirmed the separation on July 8th. One source described the marriage as rocky, while another said the couple was still figuring things out. Neither Margaret nor Jack has personally announced a divorce, and their representatives did not immediately comment. That distinction matters. They are reportedly separated, but there has been no public divorce announcement from either of them. So any headline claiming that we already know exactly how this marriage ended is getting ahead of the facts. Their story began in 2021. When they were photographed together in New York. By early 2022, they had made the relationship public, and only a few months later, Margaret was seen wearing an engagement ring. The speed of the relationship may look dramatic in hindsight, but at the time, both of them spoke as if the connection had been immediate. Jack later said that when he first saw Margaret at a party, he began imagining a future that included marriage. Margaret sounded just as certain. Before their wedding, she described feeling both excited and completely at ease because she believed she had found her person. Personally, I think that is part of why this separation has surprised so many people. Their relationship was not constantly displayed online, but whenever they did talk about each other, they sounded incredibly sure. There was very little public uncertainty in the version of the relationship that fans were allowed to see. They married in New Jersey in August 2023. The guest list included Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, Zoe Kravitz, Channing Tatum, and Cara Delevingne, turning what might have been a private celebrity wedding into a major media event. The relationship also became part of pop culture through Lana Del Rey's song, Margaret, which was inspired by Jack and Margaret's love story. That made the marriage feel almost permanent in the public imagination. It was no longer just a celebrity relationship. It had its own romantic soundtrack. And that is what makes the current news feel especially strange. A love story can be preserved forever in a song, even when the people inside it eventually change. So, when did the public signs begin? The biggest one came in early July, when Jack attended Taylor Swift's wedding with his sister Rachel rather than Margaret. Margaret's absence immediately created speculation, especially because Taylor had attended Jack and Margaret's wedding 3 years earlier. But an absent spouse at one event is not proof of a breakup. Work schedules, personal obligations, and privacy all exist. It only became significant after the separation was reported. Another detail noticed by fans was Margaret removing wedding photographs from Instagram. Again, that can be a sign that something has changed, but it cannot tell us why it changed. Social media shows an action, not the full conversation behind it. Personally, I think celebrity coverage sometimes works backward. Once a breakup becomes public, people search through months of photos and interviews until every small moment looks like a clue. Some of those clues may be meaningful, but others only feel obvious because we already know the ending. Reports from People suggest that their demanding careers contributed to the strain. Jack spends long periods touring with Bleachers or working in the studio, while Margaret's acting career involves its own travel and intense production schedules. One source claimed they argued frequently and that the relationship had been difficult for some time. Those are source-based claims, not statements from Margaret or Jack, so they should be treated as context rather than a confirmed explanation. More recent reporting also says that the two still care deeply about each other and are handling the separation with kindness. That does not fit the dramatic Hollywood narrative of betrayal, secret enemies, and public revenge, but it may be closer to the truth. There are also older stories and new memoir headlines involving Jack's former relationship with Lena Dunham circulating again, but there is currently no verified reason to connect those stories to the breakdown of his marriage to Margaret. They may add attention to his name, but they do not establish what happened in this relationship. And unless either Margaret or Jack chooses to speak, we should not fill that gap with a cheating theory or turn anonymous claims into certainty.